What would you do if a terrified nun collapsed at your feet on the open prairie and warned you, "If you shave me, God will kill you"? Tell me your name, where you're watching from, and what time it is where you are right now. Because this one will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about faith, fear, and frontier courage. On the Kansas prairie, where the wind carried secrets farther than the trains that cut through town, a young woman hit the ground so hard the dust leapt around her like smoke. Her torn black habit twisted around her legs. Her breath rattled in panicked sobs. Her name was Evelyn, and she wasn't running from sin. She was running from a man who used God like a whip. Evelyn had been running since before sunrise, fleeing a priest named Father Silas Kane, a man who believed humiliation was holy discipline. He told her he'd shave her head in front of the entire town, said God commanded it, said the public shame would cleanse her. But Evelyn knew better. It wasn't cleansing, it was cruelty. When she collapsed, face half buried in the dirt, she thought that was where she would die. Then, hoofbeats, slow at first, closer, then right beside her. A shadow fell across her. A man knelt down, gentle hands checking if she was alive. She screamed the first words her terror could form. "You shave, God will kill you." The man froze. His name was Thomas McGra, a quiet rancher who never went looking for trouble, but trouble had just found him. Thomas raised his hands like he was calming a skittish horse. "Easy now, you're safe." But Evelyn didn't believe in safety anymore. She crawled away, whispering, "Please, no, not again." Her fear hit Thomas hard, harder than any punch he'd ever taken in a saloon fight. Whoever did this meant her harm. He lifted her into his arms and carried her home, whispering, "You're gonna be all right. God puts folks in our path for a reason." At his ranch, he cleaned her wounds, gave her water, and listened as she told him the truth. The razor, the ropes, the threat, the humiliation, and the hired gun Cole Barrett sent to drag her back. Thomas felt something old and angry rise in his chest. Preachers were supposed to protect the weak, not hunt 'em. But Evelyn wasn't the only one being hunted. That night, a figure watched the ranch from the tree line. Cole had found her. Morning came uneasy. While Evelyn tried to help make breakfast, Thomas caught sight of two riders coming down the trail, Father Silas Kane and Cole Barrett. Evelyn's hand shook so hard she nearly dropped the pan. Silas smiled like a wolf wearing a priest's collar. He said he had come for his lost sheep, that Thomas had done his duty, and now she needed to return for her punishment. Thomas looked at Cole, then back at Silas. A funny kind of punishment if it requires a hired gun. Silas ordered Evelyn forward. Cole grabbed her arm. Thomas grabbed Cole. The first punch cracked across Thomas's jaw, the second into his ribs, but Thomas stayed standing. Then he returned one good blow that dropped Cole to his knees. Ranch hands broke the fight up, and Thomas growled through broken breath, "Fine, let the sheriff hear the truth in town." So they all rode into Dodge City. Folks stepped out of shops and saloons, waiting for the spectacle Silas had promised. But Evelyn spoke first. Her voice shook, but it carried. She told the whole town what really happened. The threats, the late-night meetings, the razor held like a holy judgment, the punishment meant to shame her, not save her. Silas tried to cut her off, but the crowd shifted. A widow spoke up, then a storekeeper, then the sheriff himself. complaints, rumors, missing money. It all began to fit together like a puzzle nobody wanted to see clearly until now. Respect for Silas cracked, and when respect cracks, it doesn't mend. The sheriff stepped forward. Silas was going to Evelyn to face the bishop and the judge. Cole tried slipping away, but 3 men cut him off. He was fined, disarmed, and warned. Touch Evelyn or Thomas again, and a cell wouldn't be the worst of it. Weeks later, back at the ranch, Evelyn stood before a small mirror. Her hand trembled, but not from fear. This time, she cut her own hair, not as punishment, as freedom. She smiled, the first real smile Thomas had ever seen from her. She told him she still believed in God, but she was done letting broken men interpret his voice. Thomas just nodded. "I ain't much of a church man," he said softly, "but I know the good book says protect the weak. A man's got to answer to that much." In time, Evelyn healed. She helped with the herd, helped neighbors, became a quiet blessing across the plains. And somewhere between the sunrise chores and the long evenings, love settled in. Not fast love, strong love. They married in a simple church under a good priest, surrounded by folks who now knew the truth. And years later, people still told the story. The rancher who stood up to a corrupt priest, and the young woman brave enough to speak the truth out loud. So let me ask you, what do you do when someone uses power to shame the weak? Do you turn your eyes away, or plant your feet like Thomas McGra and say, "Enough"? If this story stirred something in you, saddle up with us and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next tale on Whispering Frontier Love Tales. And before you ride off, grab your coffee, settle in, and tell me, what time is it where you're listening from? I love reading every single one.